So with the Black Panther movie coming out sometime next month, I felt like as a return to comic book videos on this channel, I could go ahead and start covering like the history of Black Panther. Now, a lot of people have suggested to me that I cover like some significant Black Panther runs, such as like Christopher Priest's Black Panther run, which started like in 1998. But here's the thing about that. That's something I want to address. I'm not really like Comics Explained or Comic Storian, Comic Pop, or Cape to Joel. Rather than stepping on anyone's shoes and like covering runs by certain writers on characters, I'd rather just have it be that I cover like history and go over plot points that happen in those runs without covering the entire run, because I am far younger than any of them and I do not have as much experience reading comics as they do. So I feel like if I just give you a basic rundown of their entire history, only picking out the most important parts, then I feel like it would be much better than trying to do exactly what they do, because what they do requires a lot more work and effort than what I do. I'm the only editor and everything here. But anyways guys, let's go ahead and get into Black Panther as a character. Now, Black Panther is actually like a title bestowed in the royal family of T'Challa, and while T'Challa is the most important Black Panther, there are two significant ones before him. The first being his father, T'Chaka, and the second being Azari the Wise, who was the Black Panther during the time of World War II and actually met Steve Rogers, Captain America, and Bucky Barnes before Steve Rogers was frozen in ice and Bucky Barnes was taken by the Soviets. Now, we first meet Black Panther in a Fantastic Four story where he was officially like really folded into the Marvel Universe. And basically what happens in this story is that to test his powers, fighting skill, and genius, the then King T'Challa invites the Fantastic Four to Wakanda. They are amazed at the technology that Wakanda has, partially because of the Vibranium. Now, we're going to diverge a bit and talk about Vibranium. Vibranium is one of the metals in Marvel Comics that is an extremely powerful metal. When it comes to Marvel Comics, you have Uru metal, which is basically what Thor's hammer is made out of. Adamantium, which of course is what gives Wolverine his metal claws. Basically, it used to be that Wolverine's body was full adamantium, but then it turns out that his skeleton was actually laced with adamantium. Now, concerning Vibranium, the reason why it's so sought after is because of the scientific reasoning behind its creation. Now, Vibranium basically landed in Wakanda one day, and is basically a gift from Bast, the Panther God. Now, Bast the Panther God is basically a religious explanation for like the Black Panther's agility and all that, and basically a source of his powers and chi. And that's when you get into like the character of White Tiger, Ava, Alaya, and all that stuff. But basically, the Wakandans took Vibranium, fashioned it into different materials, and duplicated it. And so now Wakandan Vibranium is the most well-known Vibranium, but there's also, Antarctic Vibranium, the Vibranium that's in the Savage Land with Kazar and stuff. Now, Vibranium has some unique properties, one of them being to absorb vibratory waves and kinetic energy, and somehow store the energy within the molecular bonds of the Vibranium. And the more energy it absorbs, the stronger the molecular bonds become until the Vibranium is extremely difficult to damage or destroy. That's one of the things about Vibranium, is how durable it is. Now, an example of this would be Captain America's shield is actually made of Vibranium. Now, Vibranium is not as hard to dent as adamantium, but it's not nearly as rare as adamantium. Adamantium in Marvel Comics, very few people have large deposits of it. We know that it's in Wolverine, we know that Sabretooth had adamantium laced to his nails, we know X-23 has it on her claws, but other than that, we only see it used a few different times. For example, like Wild Child is a character who was thought to be the son of Sabretooth, but basically Wild Child has similar claws to Sabretooth, but they were never really laced with adamantium until like Romulus and stuff. But we're not going to really get into Wolverine because this is obviously a Black Panther video. Another property of Wakandan Vibranium is that it seems to have the power to amplify mystical energies, but although when it uses mystical energies, it is unstable. Now, although the Fantastic Four were in fact invited, it turns out that Black Panther invited so he can fight them. He would then attack, neutralize, and defeat the Fantastic Four individually by using different forms of technology built into his Panther costume. He would then apologize for attacking them, and then explain that he wants to test their abilities to see if they would make effective allies against Klaw and his mercenaries. Now, in this same first appearance, we basically had the Fantastic Four and Black Panther teaming up to fight Ulysses Klaw. Now, Ulysses Klaw in the comics might have a different role than he will in the movie. Ulysses Klaw is basically a character who is after Vibranium and is the one who killed Black Panther's father, T'Chaka. Now, Ulysses Klaw did lose his hand and replaces it with this Vibranium sonar projector, as you could say. It basically uses like sound waves to attack people. Now, later on, Black Panther would team up with Captain America and Sharon Carter in order to defeat an imposter Baron Zemo. And so, after this encounter, Black Panther of then resurrected Steve Rogers from the ice would become fast friends. Now, later on, Black Panther would eventually become an Avenger, living a life as a crime fighter and another as a king. He became curious of the Avengers, sneaking into Avengers Mansion, and only to find out that the Avengers were quote-unquote dead. It is later revealed that the Grim Reaper had put the Avengers trio of Goliath, Wasp, and Hawkeye in a death-like stasis, framing Black Panther. Now, this is still very early into the whole history of Marvel in like the 60s and 70s, when it started to become a more cohesive shared universe, so the only real thing of note to say here is that Black Panther would eventually become a member of the Avengers. Now, Black Panther also created the Quinn Jet, which will be a mainstay of the team for years to come. Now, the Quinn Jet is basically like this jet that the Avengers use to get from place to place. He also developed the flight suit for Captain America's partner, the Falcon, and became quick friends with the Falcon, as at the time, Black Panther and the Falcon were really the only two African American heroes on the Avengers team. But anyways, guys, that was the video. This is a pretty quick video, just going over the history of Black Panther in the early days. Now, we still have a lot to go over, like Eric Killmonger, Achivi, his sister Shuri, the Dora Milaje. It's a lot to go over, and only if this video does well and you guys want to see me cover more stuff from the Black Panther mythos will I continue talking on Black Panther, Vibranium, Bast the Panther God, all this lore that goes in with the Black Panther character. But anyways, guys, that was all. I am the Comic Book Kid, and if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and comment down below what characters you want me to do next. I do a video for any suggestions by my comments. And so, yeah, I will catch you all in my next video. Goodbye.